What's good, everybody? Going to bring another video here where we do a Vod review. It is the #1 way, I think, for us to climb quickly. You got to recognize your mistakes and you got to learn from them. So we're going to check this one out. It's a long game, but I'm hoping to snip it down so it's not too bad. So this game I actually played, I think, pretty well, but we had a lot of trouble finishing the game out, and there's some key mistakes I think that could have affected the way we could have got towers and some other stuff. So I'm going to try to go quick through this one, so bear with me. And one of the things I've noticed too is that in my games in general, I have not been doing a great job of CSing. So we're not going to focus on that in this one, but in future videos, we are going to look specifically at how I CS. So the laning phase was pretty basic, just some few trades. This is my first time laning against Jan, so there were some things I didn't really understand, and yeah, it just didn't end up really turning out too well. We see here, we had this really early fight, and I do end up getting first blood here, but I actually think this was a big mistake. So if you can see, so I got that first blood, I'm taken out, and look at all of this farm I'm missing right here. So that was 2 CS. This is going to be a couple more CS. Like these 3 are going to die. Excuse me. And then, like 4, 5. So I miss almost 6 or 7 experience right here. You see I have a huge wave building up. So even though I was going to help my team, look at that's actually a whole wave, an entire wave. Even though I went and helped my team, I think it was a big mistake for me to go do that. So that was something, you know, it's kind of hard. You want to try and help your team, but in the end, that costed me way more than it ended up being a benefit to me. I did get a nice little cheeky trade here, which was nice because of the tower. So make sure you do utilize that when possible. So I have another moment coming up here in just a second. But again, this is all about, let's focus on what we did wrong and how to improve. So first thing is sometimes it's not always the best to help your team because it's just not worth it in the long run. So that ends up crashing, and then any second here we're going to see. So again, this is my first time laning with Jan. So you can see he's kind of poking me. I'm not really sure what to do, and if I remember, this is a really bad trade for me. He does dash in. I didn't notice he had it, and look, I just ran. That's all I did. Look at all that free damage I took. That was a huge mistake, and I feel like I should have traded back. My fear was with this is I realized he had Blade of Storm, or Blade Storm. What is it called? Let me see. Hail of Blades. Man, why can't I think? Hail of Blades. And with that, I was just thinking, like, I don't ever want to really trade with him because it's going to be like a huge disadvantage for me. But instead, what ended up happening is I just took a ton of free damage, and he gets into a position that's really good. And so I talked about CS. Now look at this, 11 CS to 31. Sure, I have a kill, but it's really not enough. So yeah, we're starting off way behind in this game. I do come back. I do actually end up catching up in CS for the most part. Like, it ends up going pretty good, but that you never want to set yourself up to be that far behind. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. I keep looking to the left, guys, because I'm checking my notes, so then that way I can see what's coming up. This gank was really unfortunate. I'm a little sad about it. I pinged the Malphite, wasn't really paying attention, used his slow before I got there, and because of that, we weren't able to really do anything. So I just come back into lane, and again, we just have like the normal farming. He takes a tower shot. I think he gets killed here because of that. So was able to capitalize, and there I like that I fought instead of just running, and it helped me heal up just a little bit, just enough, that way I didn't die. So that was a pretty good play, but again, we're trying to focus on what did we do wrong, because we need to learn from what we did wrong. So we do have another one coming up here in a minute. I am just going to get some CS. So again, I just kind of ran from those trades. I don't know how to lane against Jan, so that's a big no-no for me. Alright, so we got one coming up. Let's take a look. So I do remember my jungle was like pinging and said, hey, Jan's over here, so I tried to come over to help. Or I like started running back instead of going bottom. Am I in slow-mo? No, normal. Okay, so he leapt in, I flash out. Oh, and this is, so you see, I threw the Q onto Jan. But look at that, if I threw my Q onto Hecarim, I would have killed Hecarim. And so that is something I've realized that I don't do a good job of, is recognizing who has tower aggro. on a dive. So if I were to focus the person who has tower aggro, I could have traded there, and maybe, well, I probably wouldn't have survived. Maybe I would have survived. I don't think I would have survived, but I would have at least traded. And so then at that point, I would have been able to had a kill, got a little bit more money, and go forward. So that's a small mistake, but that's a mistake that can make the difference of a game, because now Hecarim's going around the map, he's getting experience, he's getting money, etc., where I could have taken somebody out of the game. So a small thing, but an important thing. So I'm going to just push the wave here, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I remember I decided there to get the tower gold because, or the plating gold, because I knew that was my way to kind of get back in, because that's money on the map that I don't have. And let's see here. Oh, here's another instance. See, I queued again onto Jan. We can back that up. Let's back that up. We're gonna show that I queued back to Jan. So we talked about like prioritizing the right target. That was a really unfortunate play here. So I get the tower goal. I'm backing up. Hecarim comes. My jungle comes, and in my mind, I kept saying, like, I want to kill my lane, my lane, my lane. I was so worried about my lane. I remember this because I was so unconfident against Jan. So we jump in, and that's kind of who we initiate on. Like, look at that. We get big damage. We get his flash. I jump back in. But now Hecarim's really the target of choice here, and I queued Jan. We definitely would have got the kill again on Hecarim. So that could have been 2 more deaths onto Hecarim in this game if I would have played it more properly. So, excuse me, had a little hiccup there. So, huge misplay by me 2 times. Could have totally slowed down the jungle and helped my team, my jungler, out way more. But those little things, like those little mistakes, end up making a big difference. If you want to climb, you have to take the onus. You have to play perfect. It's about you. It's not about your team. It doesn't matter. Like, these are things that I could have swung the game with, but they didn't happen because I misplayed. So we get a nice little pick onto Jan, and that's where his weakness is, you know, not an actual really good escape. Let's see, we got another one coming up. All right, let's see what we got here. I think this is where I went for a dive. Yeah, I go for a dive here, which I actually think was the right call, and I totally mess it up. So I remember pinging for my teammate to go on the Ashe, like get the Ashe, get the Ashe, get the Ashe, and they didn't. So it's okay. We end up getting the Hecarim. Good play here by the Leona. I jump in. Great job by the Janna. But we do get the kill there. And I think we get this kill, yep. And now I remember I'm mashing E, like trying to jump out of there. But I was panicking instead of like being calm. And I didn't click on a creep. I kept missing the creep. So that could have been an opportunity where I didn't die. I could have come back into this play maybe, and we could have gotten all of those people dead instead of getting out. So small thing, but you gotta learn not to panic. So we have a lot of play here now that I'm going to fast forward through. It's basically just like a lot of pushing and farming and trying to catch back up with CS. So I do a lot of pushing the tower and then roaming. And a lot of that is to just kind of get any type of presence I can anywhere. So you see, like, I pushed, came back, pushed. I should have jumped on that Ashe there, but, you know, I wasn't 100% confident. We head bottom, doesn't happen. I think we get, like, into a little skirmish here that, like, I kind of played okay. Like, it wasn't great. I tried to jump on this Hecarim, saw Janna, went back, was like, oh, I could have got Janna, got pushed. Do end up getting her. I don't know if I should have ignited here. Like, maybe that's the misplay because I end up E-ing onto her anyways. And then a small misplay here, I guess, too, because they go here. I didn't really see their health. I was just afraid because it was 2-on-1. I could have come a lot faster, and then we would have been able to get both of them a lot easier. You see, he had to ult. He does end up coming down here, and we do end up getting him, which isn't a big deal. But again, small things like with that map awareness, I could have gone a lot faster and could have made this not such a pain in the butt to try to get that last kill. So we do go back out. I recall, I think I end up getting my Gunblade now. And so, let's see. Yeah, I have my Gunblade now and the Seeker's Arm Guard, so I got a little bit more protection against Yawn. I was really worried about Yawn. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of pushing and farming at this point. So I'm going to fast forward a lot. A little bit of a misplay there where we maybe shouldn't have done Dragon, but we ended up taking 1 or 2 with us. Like That was just a bad play call. Let's take a look at it actually, because I remember with the jungle. So I was duo with the jungle here. We're gonna go back a little bit more. I duoed with the jungle, and so man, that seems extra slow. Yeah. And I remember as we were coming back, I was saying like, "Hey, I don't think we should do this." And he's like, "No, no, no, come on, come on, come on." And then it was just like a miscommunication, a misunderstanding of where enemy was, because it looked like for a second in here in middle that they were engaging, but you can see they disengaged there, and so just a little bit of a goof up. We end up taking one. Yeah, I don't get that last kill, but I think our team ends up cleaning it up, so it ends up being mostly okay. Okay, guys, we are back, and so there was a couple small skirmishes, a lot of pushing and just like getting lane priority and stuff, so nothing super crazy. But here's definitely where my next big mistake is. I totally get tunnel vision, and so that's something I realize that happens to me a lot, especially on Katarina. So I'm trying to flank here, you know, but we're not really getting good position. I do end up going onto this gangplank, and right here, so I'm resurrecting. I went on gangplank, and gangplank's like kind of low, but if you notice, my team is all down here. So if I were to go up onto gangplank, I'm really isolating myself. And so what I'm realizing is look at like Jan's low. We have two squishies right here, and I totally should have gone on to one of these squishies because my team would have been able to help. So let's take a look here. You notice, like, look at that. I mean, they're all right there. Great ult in. I could have jumped onto Ashe or Janna, and I go up here trying to get gangplank. So to me, that's a huge mistake. It's much better to fight with your team than to try to do something solo. And we could have gotten a lot more kills. Like, I think we would have gotten probably both of these kills, and maybe not the Hecarim, but we definitely would have got, I think, these two kills. And so huge misplay by me. I don't end up dying, but that was like could have been a huge swing because we would have got them down. We could have maybe pushed and ended there, to be honest. Like with their ADC dead and in the support, we maybe could have pressured, at least maybe got another inhib. So yeah, that was a big no-no. We don't have that big of a gap between this next one, so we'll take a look. I think I'm waiting for an item. That's why I'm just sitting, is I just needed a little bit of gold. So I think I end up getting my hourglass is what I end up getting. So pushing in here. My note for this one was I'm trying to forcing. So I'm pretty tilted at this point. So that's just like another thing we should talk about is try not to be tilted. Try not to like don't make bad choices to try to make something happen, to like think, oh, I'm gonna do this super crazy outplay and like that's how I'm gonna get back in this game. It's not about that. It's about capitalizing on other people's mistakes and you making as few mistakes as possible. But what it ends up happening is I try to force things because I'm getting tilted or I'm getting upset or I'm getting frustrated with my team, and it's totally what I do here. So it's just up here in a few seconds. Let's take a look. So I clear that up. What do I do here? Oh, so I jump on this gangplank. Like, why am I jumping on this gangplank there with like the rest of my team nowhere near? Like, I knew that was a bad play. I remember doing it like before I did it, said like, should I go on this guy? I don't know. Like, that's what I was going on in my head, and I did it anyways because like I just thought, oh, I'll just be awesome and I'll blow him up. Big mistake. So that ended up being huge. I think they get our inhib here maybe. Oh no, they don't get our inhib here, but it's still just not a good trade for us. Oh yeah, they get the bottom inhib. Yeah, so they get an inhib here. I'm definitely starting to feel the pressure. You can see the gold has flipped. Like they're way ahead of us now in gold, which we were in the lead the whole time, and we didn't make the right plays to capitalize out of it. So this is like the last big play. I'm gonna pause it for a second here. Oh no, it's not here yet. I'm sorry. We got a little bit more. So we just kind of dance around here for a little while. It's going to be coming up around the 41-minute mark. So I'm going to fast forward to that. Like, that's not too long. All right, so I think we get the dragon. We back. Yeah, our team backs here. Okay, so I remember thinking with this, our team like kind of engages when I feel like they shouldn't have, but yeah, so it's up here. So you can see like she's kind of getting caught. I saw that she was getting caught, and so I didn't want to walk up this way because I saw them all coming down. Because in my mind, like as they're coming down this way, this is going to be a bad area. So I try to come around this way, if I remember, to get to the gangplank, and I was expecting these two to back out. But what ends up happening is you see that they both end up walking into their whole team. So walks into the team. We got two over here. Our Leona goes down pretty quick. They come back and they capitalize. But he gets a really good ult here. And where am I? I'm here. Like, I'm not even in the play yet. And so then he flashes out. I realize this is complete bust. I try to get out. And I'm wondering, I don't know. Like, I'm not 100% sure. If I would have just come up this way and then fought with the Malphite, would that have been a different fight? I don't know. It's really hard to say. Ashe is pretty low. Jan's pretty low. Janna isn't low, but she doesn't have a lot of health. That could have turned the game, but in reality what ended up happening is we lose the game right after this because of that. So they go and get Baron. There's nothing we can really do, and the clock ticks away. So that was a really quick review, guys, but I want you to understand that even like my team, if you were to go back and look at this, there's so many things I could do to complain about my team, like missing ults and so much, like with the bottom lane, it's easy to say. But in reality, I made a lot of decisions that could have affected the outcome of this game still. And so, yes, it stinks. You have to play absolutely perfect, but that's how you have to play if you want to climb. You need to play really well. So I personally think that doing these VOD reviews are the best and easiest way for you to climb, because you're going to focus on yourself and you're going to realize what you're doing wrong. So look forward to another video that's going to be about CS, because one of the things I realized is the more CS I have, the less I lose. So, guys, doesn't matter what happens with your team. Like, you could be winning the whole time. Your team ends up throwing. It doesn't matter. You can only control you, and that's how you're going to grow. So I appreciate it. Let me know down low what you guys think. Should I have pathed the other way and fought with my team, or should I have, done what I done and not die? So I appreciate it. You all rock. Let's climb together.